I've scaled multiple online school communities. I've scaled multiple online school communities, such as the 1% Club, which I grew organically to 3,600 members in less than a few months. And also Traffic University, which I started less than a month ago, or just over a month ago, which is at 193 members. And one thing I found from growing over tens of school communities for my clients is that they all have something in common, and that is finding a perfect niche. They all have a solid niche, and that is where the base of school community members come from. Because if you don't have a solid niche, you're never going to get a lot of members to your community. So first off, before we go into actually finding your niche, let's go over understanding what a niche actually is. So let me open this up. So what is a niche? So whether you've already picked a niche or not, this section is still going to be vital. So still continue watching this section because picking a niche is so important. So in this video, we're going to discuss why you need a niche, how to pick a niche, and how to get your niche better. How to get to know your niche better. So first off, what is a niche? So as defined in the dictionary, a niche is a specialized segment of the market for a particular kind of product or service. So in essence, a niche is a pocket of the market in which you can specialize in. So let me give you guys an example. Gyms are a niche, dentists are a niche, but local businesses aren't a niche. Martial arts gyms owned by 14 or 34-year-old woman named Brie is too niche. Right, that's a way too niche down. But example of a niche is like a gym. You're targeting gym owners. You're targeting dentists in the area. Right, that's an example of a niche. But local businesses is not a niche. Even that this is a niche, but it's way too niche down. You're not going to find any clients. You'll find one, but probably not more than that. So having a niche is going to be so vital to your success. It's going to be so important to your success to have a niche because the niche that you're going to pick is going to dictate the rest of your journey. It's going to tell if you're going to become successful or not. This is the difference between successful entrepreneurs and unsuccessful entrepreneurs is the niche they pick because everything comes from the niche. The first thing in doing business is pick a niche. And if you do it wrong, then you're definitely not going to make a lot of money. Alright, so do not half-ass this. I want you to pick a niche carefully and really think about what will actually help you the most. What niche do you actually want to serve? What niche can you give the most value to? That's what I really want you to think about. So let's go over specialist ascendants. So there are generally thousands of ways which I can show you why a specialist beats a jack of all trades. Because in all areas of life, a specialist beats a jack of all trades. So let me show you two examples why. So who makes more money? A GP or a brain surgeon? So if you're having a brain, let me give you an example just to put a bit more context, just to show you guys a stronger example. So let's say you're having a brain operation. Would you rather pay a GP $5,000 for that brain operation, or would you rather pay a brain surgeon $15,000? Right. So with your agency or with your knowledge, let me change that there. With your knowledge, you want to be a brain surgeon, right? The reason is because they're more niche down. They actually have experience. They're fully just focused on helping people with brain operations, except for JP. JP is helping people with all more aspects, more areas. So the more niche down you are, the more perceived expertise you have. Therefore, your perceived likelihood of success goes up, and you can demand higher prices. For example, in my niche, I could easily say, I help you grow your school community. Well, that's not my niche. What my niche is, I help you get more traffic to your school community, and inside of that, I have more qualifications to see if you actually fit to the criteria. So that's really, really niche down. I mean, think about look at this chart right here, right? Look at this energy. Do you want your energy like small, like, and do you want your energy diverted in different ways? I can see it's like diverted in different ways, but you're not giving that much like attention to each of it, right? Or would you rather want your energy going towards one direction you can put all your energy into? Right? Obviously, this guy's gonna make more money than this person right here. Imagine this person Jack, and this is gonna be James. So Jack's gonna make less money than James because Jack's trying to make money in 10, 15 different. He's got 6, 7 different niches. He's not going to make money because he can't give all these niches attention. He can't become a master in that one niche and charge higher prices. He might get a few clients at the start, but he's not going to sustain them over a long period of time. This guy, James, he's going to make a ton. He's not going to make that much money to start because he's just starting out. He's learning about the niche. But over time, as he puts more and more effort into it, he's going to make more money. He's going to charge higher prices. If Jack's going to charge like 1,000 free services, James can charge $10,000 for his services and people will pay him. That's really, really important. This all ties into the minimalism principle, right? So the minimalism principle is The more things you focus your energy on, the less you get out of it. So, with that being said, you shouldn't go into many things shallowly. I want you to stick to one thing and get really, really deep into that. Right, 10k a month in 10 directions doesn't get you as far as 100k a month in one direction, because 10k a month in different directions, yeah, you can't scale. It's not easy to scale. Right, but 100k a month in one direction or 100 kilometers in one direction is going to get you far. Right, so would you rather go 10 kilometers that way, 10 kilometers that way, 10 kilometers that way, 10 kilometers that way, 10 kilometers behind you? Would you rather go like 10 kilometers in all different directions, or just 100 kilometers on one single path, straight road? Now, obviously, you would pick 100k a month in one direction. So why don't you do the exact same thing in business? Let me give you another example. 1,000 hours in 10 disciplines doesn't give you as much authority as 10,000 hours in one discipline. Let me give you this in the context of sports. You're going to become good at long distance running, table tennis, cricket, soccer, basketball, volleyball, baseball, swimming, cycling, running. You're going to have 1,000 hours in those 10 things, or do you just want to have 10,000 hours in one sport, which could be swimming? You could go pro in swimming, but you wouldn't be able to go pro in those 10 other sports which you spend 1,000 hours in, right? So that's authority, that's power right there. So let me go over. Now you've understood the power of minimalism and why picking one niche is better than going in 10 different directions. Now let's go over 4 common niche mistakes which people make when they choose a niche. So the first one is copying. And this is one mistake I see every beginner make, and it's just genuinely annoying me, frustrating me now. Do not go into a niche because you saw someone else go into a niche. Or you saw someone else, or you saw a famous influencer go into that niche. Don't go into that niche. Don't go into the synthesizer niche because Andrew Kirby was there. Or don't go into the school community niche because Max Person does, and he makes a lot of money from it. Most people pick their niche, service, and offer on a monkey see through logic. So they see and they do. This is why most people fail. This is what most people do and they fail. The thing is though, you're watching this video and you don't like most people, because most people will just see this video, or they'll just pick a random niche. They'll pick a niche which I'm doing, which obviously not going to work for them, obviously not. So don't be like most people. Your process should be purely logical and pick a niche on what makes sense for you. What makes most sense for you? Pick a niche on that. Don't pick a niche on what I'm doing, or what Max Pearson is doing, or what Andrew Kirby is doing, or what Hamza is doing. Pick a niche on what makes most sense to you. The second mistake which people make is concerning yourself with the competition. The reality is, it doesn't matter how big the competition is, or you think there is a niche in. There's going to be room for you. There's no such thing as an oversaturated niche or an oversaturated market. There's only things as an oversaturated offer. There's always going to be room for you. There's always room for every single person in every single niche. There's plenty of room for your competitors. Only a small percent will even be able to compete with you. And of that people that are able to, every single one of you could have $100,000 a month business and have plenty to go around. If it was like, let's say you had 50 competitors, each one of you could be running a 50k a month business, even more. And then obviously if you're running a 50k a month business, you can scale up so you can get to $1 million a month. So just change the way you think about your competition. Think about competition as having a scarcity mindset. When you think about your competition, that's having a scarcity mindset. The third thing which I see people make a mistake is being unable to make the decision. Right? So don't fall victim to being torn with multiple different things. It's very easy to come up with 4 or 5 different ideas for a niche and then pick the best niche. There's no reason why someone cannot pick one. You have to pick one niche. If you have like 7, 8 different ideas, pick one. Right? And the fourth mistake is you must think you must marry to yourself for the niche for the next 50 years. Right? This is absolutely wrong. You can change your niche. If you pick a fitness niche, you're not stuck with that niche for the rest of your life. You can change niches 100%. But the whole point I'm trying to get at is, when you have a niche, only stick with that one niche. Don't go into different niches. Yes, you can start working for that niche and then pick a different niche. But at one time, solely focus on one niche. Okay. Next thing is niche hopping and SOS's detrimental effects. So although you don't need to marry your niche, do not make the detrimental mistake of conforming to shiny object syndrome. Shiny object syndrome is basically when you see something that sounds pretty cool, flashy, you stick with it, and you don't have the discipline to continue on working with it. Right, that's shiny object syndrome. And this is most entrepreneurs fall to, and this is why most entrepreneurs fail. Right? The same way you have shiny object syndrome with business models, you have it with services, niches, and everything in your life. The shiny object syndrome goes around everywhere in life. Right? And if you keep giving into the vicious cycle of new niche, face problem, switch niche, face problem, switch niche, face problem, switch niche, face problem, you're never ever going to be successful with your business. The way you find success is by picking the niche, the one niche. Right, so now let's go over the real best niche. And the spoiler alert, there is no best niche. At least not in the way you currently think about niches right now. Right? There is no best niche in that sense of the word. However, there is one best niche. The best niche is the one you stick for 12 plus months. The best niche is the one you stick with for over a year. That's the best niche. And I'll tell you what the worst niche is. The worst niche is the one you just hop to right now. Right? Let's say you're in the fitness niche and you go into the dentist niche. That's the worst niche right there because you just hopped onto that. So niche depth of expertise and understanding has an exponential effect as shown above in the document. The only time you should give up and actually niche hop is when you have been in a niche for 1 to 2 years and there is a niche specific problem that is completely impossible to get around. And this will never happen if you're in a proven niche. Never ever is going to happen. So your niche does not create a problem, you do. It is your lack of knowledge and your failures that cause the problem. It's not the niche. Every single niche works. The problem is only you. The harder a niche is at the beginning, the less amount of people will make it through to a difficult stage or past the difficult stage of low expertise. So it's going to become easier for you to become the best niche in your best person in the niche. So let's say you're in a very, very hard niche. That's a good thing. I'll tell you why. Because most people don't make it past that difficult stage, and if you can charge high prices. You're going to completely dominate the market in that niche. So let's go over the saturation myth. So of one of these dots, so from this graph, of one of these dots, which one stands out? The answer is pretty simple, right? None of these stand out because they're just the exact same, they're just different colors. Now out of these dots, which one stands out? Now obviously red stands out because you have saturation. When you have saturation, you can make something true that stands out. You can make something that stands out. Because look, imagine all these are the same. Imagine this one circle, this is all the exact same niche. And the red circle is you. Now that stands out from the niche, right? Now let's go to the next graph. And when there's extreme saturation, what you need to do is just stand out a little bit. Not even stand out 100% from your competitors. Just stand out a little bit. Have one small tweak. And you're going to be successful. Look at this. It's the same color, right? It's blue. But it's just slightly different colors. It's the same blue, but it's just a slightly different color. So don't be afraid of saturation. Actually, be grateful there is saturation because if you can stand out, you can make a ton of money. You can still climb from your competitors and make a lot of money from that. So don't be afraid of saturation. Instead, welcome it. Now let's go over blue oceans versus red oceans. So there are two principles of thinking when you pick a niche. They both work, but do not be binary and only think that one works, right? Because it's gonna be circumstantial. Alright, so the first thing is only proven niches work. This is where I stood for a long period of time. I thought only proven niches work. I thought you needed to join big, competitive, proven niches, but that's not the problem. That's not the case, right? Because the market is so big, saturation is never going to matter, and then the niche is proven, so you can make a lot of money in that niche. Right? The next thing is to have the assumption that only blue ocean niches work. This is where people say that. This is where you have people who say you have to get into an untapped niche where you have no competition, so you can easily become a market of one and dominate the entire industry. The issue with this is there are little to no untapped niches that work. The ones that truly work are untapped because of niche-related issues, right? So niche-related issues. Blue oceans are the only niches that are susceptible to niche problems. What solution is? Just get rid of this binary thinking. Do not have this binary thinking again because they both work and they both don't work at the same time. There is no right or wrong answer. So one thing I want you to do is don't concern yourself with being in a red ocean because it's proven or trying to pick an untapped niche that you can dominate. Instead, answer the questions I'm going to give you guys below and pick the niche that makes the most sense. And it's going to contribute most towards your success. Okay, next thing is limiting factors for scale. So there are some limiting factors which you have to avoid if you want to scale big. So you cannot scale with anything more than one niche. I'm telling you that. You're not going to scale past $10,000 a month with more than one niche. Your operational drag works at a multiplier. So let me give you an example of one niche and three niches. So one niche business, one DM system. You can have one sales call process, one onboarding process, one ad system, one lead nurturing system, one email list, one set of SOPs, one website, one offer, one contract, one pricing plan, one CRM, one style of content, one support system, and one community. Now we have that there. One times whatever, how many we went over, equals one. Right? That equals one. This is the operational drag. The operational drag of this niche is just one. Let's go if you have three niches. So three niche businesses. With three niche businesses comes three DM systems, three sales call processes, three onboarding processes, three ad systems, three lead nurturing systems, three email lists, three set of SOPs, three websites, three offers, three contracts, three pricing plans, three CRMs, three styles of content, three support systems, and three communities. Now, if we multiply this all over again, the operational drag is going to be 14,348,907. That's the operational drag, right? Now I want you to ask this question. What number is higher? 1 or 14 million? Well, obviously it's 14 million, right? So that's high operational drag. So obviously you want to stick with one niche because less operational drag. You have to do less work. It's more simple, and the simpler it is, the better it is for you. So having multiple niches can create insane levels of operational drag that make it nearly impossible for you to scale. So that's the reason I want you to stick with one niche and one niche only. The only time you should consider branching out to a different niche is when you're making over $50,000 a month. But then again, I've seen people make $1 million a month simply from one niche. So just stick with one niche. There's no reason why you shouldn't. So let's go over the golden trifecta. So the golden trifecta is basically 3 components you need in selecting the best niche. And if you can find a niche that has all 3 of these, well, chances are that should be your niche. So the first one is skills that you can learn or have. So the fix to the problem that you're trying to solve for your niche should be made up of skills that you either currently have or skills you can acquire. For example, a lot of niches they struggle with getting a lot of clients. So if the skill required to fix that is Facebook ads, and Facebook ads is a skill you can learn, then this is part of the golden trifecta that checks out. But this is the least important part of the golden trifecta. The next one is industries that you know. The niche you pick being an industry you already know can help you out a lot. Now, this is not a requirement, however, it's going to help out a lot. If you understand a niche, you can understand their latent conditions, or I'm going to cover latent conditions later in this video. Right? And make statements that resonate with them. Right? Consider industries that you already know about, and if they fit all 3 points, that could be a great niche for you to go in business with. Right? And next thing is market needs and desires. This is by far the most important part of the golden trifecta. Your market's core drives, wants, and needs and desires are ultimately what we're looking for. If you can extract them properly, we can create offers around them. If you have the skills to fix your market's problems, you know about the industry, and the market is a genuine need for your services, and this may be a very valuable niche for you to go into. So we're not stopping here. This is just the beginning. So look over here. Here's the middle ground right there. This is where you want to be. Right? So these are industries you know. These are markets, desires, and wants. These are desires. And these are skills you can learn. Right? And your niche is going to be right in the middle of all 3. That's going to be the best niche for you to go into. Now, we went over a lot of theory, right? We went over a lot of things about understanding what a niche is. Now, let's actually go ahead, put this in place, and actually help you find your niche. So let's go over finding your niche. Let's go. So first off, before we find our niche, we want to design our customer avatar. So I'm going to let you guys fill this worksheet out. So I'm going to open this worksheet and run through this entire worksheet. I'm going to have all these documents linked below inside my free community. So if you want to get access to these entire worksheets, get access to this entire document, simply click the link down below, join my free community, and I'll send you over these documents. So let's go over market research worksheet. So company, so what's the company name, client avatar? So you want to answer these questions first, and you want to go here. So occupation or descriptive title. So where do they live? How old are they? What is their current level of education? And what have they accomplished? Simply answer these questions. Right, next thing is, tell us a little about your avatar. What do they do? How do they spend their weeks? What do they do outside? Where do they get their news? How much do they make? How do they feel about their job right now? What are their concerns in life? What aspects of their life or personality affect how you market your product to them? Now let's go over telling them about their history. So what happened to them in the past that led them up to this point? How do they feel about what happened in the past? Maybe a former job, an experience they had, or a trip they took. What are they currently interested in because of this event? What is their family and relationship status? Are they married, divorced, single? Do they have children? How many? Does anything about their relationship have a bearing on how they might use your product or fit into the week? Does your product address any of the concerns that can relate to their family? Right, so these are just some questions I want you to answer. And the reason I want you to answer these questions is because you get to know more about your market. And the more you know about your market, the easier it is for you to sell to them. So this is so important. This is the most important part of the entire process of actually making money, is finding a niche and doing market research. And you might be asking, how can I conduct market research? Well, it's just simple as go ahead, meet your client, get on calls with your client, and start messaging your client. It's as simple as that, and you can make a lot of money. That's market research done. Now let's go over creating your optimized niche. So once you found your ICP, and your ICP is basically an ideal client profile, now it's time for you to fill this worksheet out, which is basically a niche document. So the first thing you want to answer is, what are 5 to 10 pain points of the type of person you want to help? What are 5 to 10 problems that those pain points are associated with? Because problems create pain. What are 5 to 10 desires of the person? Now I want you to clarify each part of the type of the person your customer avatar. So age, gender, occupation, interests, qualities, what transformations do they want to make? I want you to look at the gap between their pain, where they are right now, pain and desire. Because transformation equals current state to desired state. That's what we want to create. So define their current state. Define their desired problem, desired state. And what's the problem stopping them from getting there? And then I want you to answer, how can you help them make the transformation? What can you do to solve their problem? What's their present pains and problems? What's basically the current state? What's their gains? That's their desired situation. What stops them from escaping their current state and getting to their desired state? What assumptions are they making that are keeping them stuck? What don't they like about the options available now to get them to the desired state? Now defining your optimized niche should be super simple now, because we've already done all those steps. So it takes 3 steps. So finally, write out your entire niche. So who do you help? So I help coaches and consultants. What do you help them with? Effortlessly win their dream high-ticket client. Deliver a service through where the people coming back to them. And third thing is, how do you get that result? Through teaching all the systems necessary to sell the high-ticket clients. That's just an example, and this is in the wealth industry. So obviously, do this process for your own market. And yeah, if you want access to this worksheet, join my free community down below, and I'll give you direct access to this entire worksheet. Now I'll fill that document out. Next thing which we're going to do is, once you've done those worksheets, you should have clearly identified your ideal customer avatar and have an optimized niche. Now obviously there are more things which we need to go over to take this to the next level. So we need to understand latent conditions. So let me go over latent conditions. So now you have your niche. The main thing we need to focus on is understanding your niche's latent conditions. Now what are latent conditions? Latent conditions are the underlying psychological conditions that humans in your niche have. We want to have a good understanding of what makes our niche tick. Right, so here are 2 great metaphors that help me understand how latent conditions work. So drilling for oil, that's a good metaphor I like to use. So think of your niche's latent conditions like drilling for oil. Alright, so a certain part of Earth's surface contain oil, and the presence of this oil creates pressure. If you struck that, pressure is released, and the oil can be extracted for profit. The problem is knowing where to drill. Like the Earth, humans in your niche's mind contain pockets of pressure that, if you drill, leads to a psychological release that can be extremely profitable. So instead of using a physical drill, we can use words. Using the right words, phrases or images we can resonate with the unconscious mind of the market and create massive action. Right? Resonance is key. The more depth of understanding we have about our niche, the more resonance we have, the better our client acquisition efforts are going to be. The next thing is radio session frequencies. Your offer and marketing message are just like a radio. You need to tune them to a certain frequency to find a station. In this case, a station is one or more of these latent conditions. Once a radio station is found, music plays. Once a psychological station is found, action is usually taken, or massive confidence and pain is built. In simpler words, marketing assets that make people feel understood, invoke trust. Good marketing triggers react with existing psychological conditions to get results. This is why niche market research is so vital for your company. Now, once you've understood all of that, we must do one final thing to draw all this into your head. We need to fill this worksheet out. And this is going to be a niche mastery worksheet to help you fully drill that point home and have an optimized niche. So answer these 10 questions in extreme detail. Keep coming back to these and adding more detail to your answers. The more you know about your niche, the more successful they're going to be. There is a direct correlation. So first question. What keeps your niche awake at night? Segmenting. What are they afraid of? What are they angry about? Or who are they angry about? What are their top 3 daily frustrations? What trends are occurring? And what trends will occur in their business and lives? What do they secretly, truthfully desire the most? What built-in biases do they have about the way they make decisions? Examples, engineers equal exceptionally analytical. Do they have their own phrases and languages that they use? Who else is selling to them that is similar, and how? And who else is trying to sell them to them something similar? And how is the effort failing? Answer these 10 questions and trust me, you're going to know your niche at a whole different level. Now that is how to pick a niche for beginners for your community. That is the whole blueprint right there. And now you've successfully picked your niche, you've designed your customer avatar, created an optimized niche, and drilled this into your head. Now the next step is creating an offer, which I'm going to go over in the next video. You can check out on my YouTube channel. I'm going to create a whole video on how to select your entire offer. And one final thing, if you want access to this entire worksheet, literally this entire document, simply join my free community in the link down below right now, and I'll give you direct access to this entire worksheet and access to worksheets for future YouTube videos.